My child, do not turn away. Before you decide that you have heard enough. Before you let the next distraction carry you away. Before you tell yourself that you will come back to this later. Stay with me for one more moment. There is something I am calling you to see, and it is not hidden because I want to frighten you. It is hidden beneath the noise you have learned to live with, beneath the routines that keep you busy, beneath the conversations that fill your day but never touch the place in you that has been asking for rest. You have been moving quickly because slowing down would make you feel what you have been trying not to feel. You have been filling every empty space because silence has begun to sound like a question. You have been telling yourself that you are fine because admitting that you are tired would require you to face how long you have been carrying more than you were meant to carry. But I am not asking you to solve your whole life in this moment. I am asking you not to turn away from the truth of your own heart. Stay with me for one more moment. You felt a pull lately, a quiet pull, not always dramatic, not always loud. Sometimes it has come while you were looking at your life and realizing that something has changed in you. Sometimes it has come in the middle of an ordinary day when everything around you looked normal but nothing inside you felt settled. You have noticed that you are becoming numb to things that once mattered. You have noticed that you are tired of pretending that you do not need comfort. You have noticed that there are places you keep returning to even though they leave you emptier than before. And part of you has been afraid to ask why. My child, do not turn away. This is not a message of rejection. This is a call back to yourself, back to truth, back to the part of you that still knows there must be more than surviving one day at a time. You have been asking, sometimes with words and sometimes only with tears, whether you can still return after all the times you said you would change, and then found yourself in the same place again. Listen carefully. You do not have to earn the right to come back. You do not have to make yourself perfect before you can be honest. You do not have to hide the parts of your life that make you ashamed. I already know where you have been. I know the choices that keep replaying in your mind. I know the words you wish you had not said. I know the ways you have tried to comfort yourself when you felt alone. I know the promises you made when you were afraid, and I know how disappointed you felt when you could not keep them. And I am still calling you. Stay with me for one more moment. Not because I want to trap you in guilt, because I want to free you from it. Guilt has told you that you must keep looking backward. Guilt has told you that the worst thing you have done is the truest thing about you. Guilt has told you that because you fell before, you will fall again. But I do not call you by the name of your failure. I call you by the name of the person you are becoming. You have been turning away from your own healing because you believed healing had to feel easy. You thought that if you were truly changing, you would never again feel tempted to return to what hurt you. You thought that if you were truly strong, you would never again feel afraid. You thought that if you were truly faithful, you would never again have questions. But strength is not the absence of struggle. Faith is not the absence of questions. Healing is not the absence of memory. Healing is learning that the memory no longer gets to rule you. My child, do not turn away. There is a difference between conviction and condemnation. Condemnation says, you are finished. Conviction says, come home. Condemnation says, hide. Conviction says, bring it into the light. Condemnation says, you will never change. Conviction says, you do not have to remain here. Learn to recognize the voice that calls you closer. It will not flatter you into staying in what is destroying you. But it will not abandon you in your weakness either. It will tell you the truth and then hold the door open. That is what I am doing now. I am holding the door open. Not because you deserve it more than anyone else. Not because you have finally become strong enough. But because my mercy has never depended on your ability to impress me. Stay with me for one more moment. There is a reason you have felt restless. There is a reason certain things no longer satisfy you the way they used to. There is a reason you can be surrounded by people and still feel that something important is missing. Your spirit was not made to live on substitutes. You can substitute noise for peace. You can substitute attention for love. You can substitute control for trust. You can substitute distraction for rest. But eventually, your heart knows the difference. And the ache you feel is not proof that you are broken beyond repair. It may be proof that you are finally ready to stop living beneath what you were created for. Do not turn away from this thought. What you have been avoiding may not be a punishment waiting for you. It may be a doorway into honesty, a doorway into healing, a doorway into a life where you do not have to keep running from yourself. I am not calling you to panic. I am calling you to return. Take a breath. Let the noise become quiet for just a moment. You do not have to know every answer before you take the next faithful step. You only need to be willing to stop turning away. There is a place inside your life that you have been avoiding. You know where it is. It may be the conversation you keep postponing. It may be the habit you keep excusing. It may be the hurt you keep carrying, because releasing it feels like saying what happened was acceptable. It may be the grief you have buried beneath responsibilities. It may be the dream you stopped speaking about because disappointment made hope feel dangerous. Whatever it is, you have learned to walk around it. You have learned how to keep moving without looking directly at it. You have learned how to tell yourself that tomorrow will be a better day to face it. But tomorrow keeps becoming another tomorrow. And the thing you avoid does not disappear simply because you refuse to name it. My child, I am not asking you to expose every private wound to everyone around you. I am asking you to stop hiding from me. There is no freedom in pretending that I do not see what you carry. There is no peace in building a life around the fear of being found out. There is no rest in performing strength while your heart is asking for help. Bring the real thing to me. Not the polished version. Not the version that sounds spiritual. Not the version you think will make me proud. Bring the truth. Bring the anger you are embarrassed to admit. Bring the jealousy that makes you feel small. Bring the disappointment that turned into bitterness. Bring the fear that makes you control every detail. Bring the temptation you do not understand. Bring the loneliness you have tried to silence with other people's attention. Bring it to me. You have spent too long treating honesty as if it were dangerous. But honesty is where your healing begins. You cannot heal what you continually deny. You cannot surrender what you keep defending. You cannot receive peace while you insist on carrying every burden alone. I know that you are afraid of what will happen if you finally admit what is true. You are afraid you will be judged. You are afraid you will lose control. You are afraid that if you open the door, every pain you buried will come rushing out at once. But listen to me. You're not required to carry the whole weight in one day. You are not required to fix every consequence in one conversation. You are not required to become a different person overnight. You're required only to take the next honest step. That step might be a prayer. It might be an apology. It might be a boundary. It might be a decision to stop returning to a place that keeps harming you. It might be a decision to ask someone safe for help. It might be a decision to forgive, not because the wound was small, but because you no longer want the wound to direct your life. The next honest step may feel small. Do not despise it. Small steps are still movement. A single truthful sentence can begin to break a cycle. A single act of courage can interrupt years of avoidance. A single choice to stop lying to yourself can open a future you could not see before. You've been waiting for a dramatic change. But many transformations begin quietly. They begin when you say, "This is not healthy for me anymore." They begin when you say, "I cannot keep pretending." They begin when you say, "I need help." They begin when you say, "I am ready to come back." My child, there is no shame in coming back. Shame says that returning means you failed. But returning means you are still listening. Returning means your heart is not dead. Returning means you still believe there is a life beyond the pattern that has held you. You've been afraid that your past has made you less worthy of a future. But your past is not a prison sentence. It is part of your story, not the author of it. You have made choices that hurt you. You have trusted people who did not handle your heart carefully. You have stayed too long in rooms where you had to make yourself smaller. You have ignored warning signs because you wanted to believe someone would become who they promised to be. You have said yes when everything inside you wanted to say no. And you have been carrying regret as though regret must become your identity. It does not. Regret can become wisdom. Regret can become a boundary. Regret can become the place where you finally learn what you will not abandon in yourself again. Do not turn away from your own growth because it asks you to grieve who you used to be. The old version of you did what they knew how to do to survive. Thank them, then let them rest. You do not have to punish yourself forever for what you did when you were trying to survive. You can learn. You can change. You can become more honest, more grounded, more whole. I am not calling you backward into shame. I am calling you forward into freedom. There are doors you need to close. Not because I want to take joy from you. Because some doors have been stealing your peace. There are voices you need to stop trusting. Not because every person is against you. Because not every voice deserves authority in your life. There are patterns you need to interrupt. Not because you are weak. Because you are tired of waking up in the same pain and calling it normal. I am calling you to see the place you keep avoiding. Not so that you can be afraid of it. So that you can finally walk through it with me. The truth may be uncomfortable at first. But comfort built on denial is not peace. It is only delay. And you have delayed long enough. Take the next honest step. I will meet you there. My child, there are places you have made a home in that were only ever meant to be a lesson. You have learned how to survive there. You know the rules of the pain. You know what to expect from the disappointment. You know how to protect yourself before anyone has the chance to let you down again. And because the familiar can feel safer than the unknown, you have stayed near what hurt you. You have returned to the same thoughts. You have returned to the same people. You have returned to the same habits. You have returned to the same version of yourself who believes that love must be earned through exhaustion. But I am calling you out. Not with anger, with clarity. Stop making a home in what keeps wounding you. Stop calling chaos normal because it has been around you for a long time. Stop calling anxiety wisdom because it helps you feel prepared. Stop calling self-neglect loyalty because you are afraid people will leave if you finally care for yourself. Stop calling emotional distance peace because conflict scares you. Stop calling a prison a shelter because you have learned how to decorate the walls. I know that these words may touch a place you do not want to examine, but do not turn away. You have been asking why you feel so drained, while continuing to give your deepest strength to things that never replenish you. You have been asking why you feel unseen, while shrinking every time you are invited to speak honestly. You have been asking why you feel far from peace, while opening the door each day to the same voices that make you question your worth. My child, you are allowed to outgrow what once felt necessary. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to become someone who no longer accepts what the old version of you tolerated. You are allowed to let a season end. You are allowed to say, "This is no longer where I belong." The people who only knew how to love you when you were convenient may not understand your growth. The environments that benefited from your silence may resist your boundaries. The habits that numbed your pain may call you back when you begin to feel lonely. But your growth does not need everyone's approval. Your healing does not need to be explained to everyone who preferred you wounded. There are some things that will feel like loss when you leave them behind. You will miss the familiarity. You will miss the illusion of control. You may even miss the people who hurt you, because the heart can confuse attachment with safety. Do not judge yourself for that. Just do not let the longing for what was familiar make you forget what it cost you. Remember the nights you went asleep with a heavy heart. Remember the way you kept questioning yourself. Remember the times you made excuses for behavior that broke something inside you. Remember the version of you who kept hoping that if you tried harder, you would finally be treated with care. You do not need to keep proving that you deserve basic kindness. You do not need to keep auditioning for a place in someone's life. You do not need to keep negotiating with what has already shown you it cannot hold your peace. I am teaching you to walk away without hatred. I am teaching you to release without revenge. I am teaching you that boundaries are not punishment. They are a form of stewardship. They protect what is sacred in you. They protect the part of you that still wants to trust, still wants to love, still wants to live without fear. You have confused being available with being faithful. But you are not called to be available to every demand, every accusation, every crisis, every person who has learned how to reach you only when they need something. There are moments when love says, "I cannot continue this way." There are moments when grace says, "I forgive you, but I will not give you the same access to hurt me again." There are moments when wisdom says, "I bless you from a distance." That does not make you cold. It makes you honest. And honesty is kinder than resentment that keeps building beneath the surface. My child, stop making a home in what hurts you. The place you have been is not the place you must remain. You may have started there. You may have learned there. You may have survived there. But you do not have to build your future there. There is more ahead of you than repetition. There is more ahead of you than another cycle of the same apology, the same regret, the same collapse, the same attempt to begin again without changing what pulled you down. I am calling you toward a different kind of strength. Not the strength that never cries. Not the strength that carries everyone while ignoring your own pain. Not the strength that stays in the fire just to prove you can endure it. I am calling you toward the strength that knows when to leave. The strength that tells the truth. The strength that asks for help. The strength that rests. The strength that chooses peace even when chaos feels more familiar. You may be afraid that leaving what hurts will leave you with nothing. But empty hands can receive new things. A cleared room can become a place of rest. A closed door can make space for a truer one to open. Do not cling to what is draining you just because you cannot yet see what comes next. Walk with me into the unknown. You will not walk there alone. You have been calling yourself weak for too long. You call yourself weak because you cry when you are alone. You call yourself weak because you need reassurance. You call yourself weak because your heart still hurts over something that happened a long time ago. You call yourself weak because you struggle with thoughts you wish would disappear. You call yourself weak because you are tired. But being tired does not mean you are weak. It means you have been carrying something. And carrying something for a long time changes a person. It changes the way you speak. It changes the way you trust. It changes the way you enter rooms. It changes the way you prepare for disappointment before anything has happened. My child, I do not look at you with contempt because you are tired. I see the strength it took for you to get this far. I see the mornings you rose even when your heart was heavy. I see the responsibilities you carried when no one asked whether you had enough strength left to carry them. I see the way you protected others from your pain because you did not want to become a burden. I see you, and I need you to stop measuring your worth by how little you need from anyone. You were not created to be a machine. You were not created to heal in isolation. You were not created to carry every sorrow without ever being held. There is a false strength that says, I can do everything alone. It sounds brave, but often it is only fear wearing armor. It is fear of being disappointed, fear of asking and being ignored, fear of trusting and being hurt, fear of being seen and still not being chosen. You have been using independence to protect yourself. But there is a difference between healthy independence and a wall so high that even love cannot reach you. I am not asking you to become dependent on people who have not been safe. I am asking you to let me teach you what safe love feels like. Safe love does not demand that you disappear to keep the peace. Safe love does not use your wounds against you. Safe love does not keep you guessing whether you are welcome. Safe love tells the truth without trying to destroy you. Safe love makes room for your humanity. And you have spent too much time accepting less because you thought less was all you deserved. Do not turn away from this. The way you speak to yourself matters. You have repeated words over your own life that I never gave you. You have said, I always ruin things. You have said, I am too difficult to love. You have said, nothing ever works out for me. You have said, I should be over this by now. You have said, I do not deserve another chance. Those words may feel true because you have rehearsed them so often. But repetition does not make a lie true. You are not a burden because you have needs. You are not defective because healing takes time. You are not disqualified because your journey has been messy. You are not unlovable because someone failed to love you well. You're not behind because your path looks different from someone else's. There is no prize for arriving at healing with no scars. There is no shame in taking your time. Your calling is not to become a copy of anyone else. Your calling is to become truthful, whole, and faithful with the life you have been given. I am not asking you to perform strength. I am asking you to receive it. Strength comes when you stop fighting every battle in your own mind. Strength comes when you stop agreeing with every fearful thought. Strength comes when you let truth speak louder than shame. Strength comes when you decide that the next step is enough for today. You do not need to become fearless before you move. You can move while afraid. You can tell the truth while your voice shakes. You can set a boundary while part of you wants to take it back. You can begin again even if you do not feel ready. Courage is not the absence of trembling. Courage is choosing what is true while you tremble. My child, I have not forgotten the parts of you that you have hidden. I have not rejected the parts of you that are still becoming. I have not looked away from the days you felt like you could not keep going. I have been near in the quiet ways you did not recognize. In the person who checked on you when you thought no one noticed. In the strength that rose in you at the exact moment you thought you had none. In the door that did not open because it would have cost you more than you knew. In the small desire to try again after you had almost decided to stop. You call it coincidence, but I call it care. You call it barely surviving, but I see the beginning of endurance. You call it weakness, but I see a heart that has not stopped reaching for life. Do not turn against yourself because you are still healing. Do not punish yourself for being human. Let today be the day you stop speaking to yourself like an enemy. Let today be the day you begin to believe that you are worthy of the same gentleness you keep offering everyone else. You do not have to become someone else to be loved. You only have to stop abandoning who you are. My child, I am calling you back to the life in front of you. Not the life you thought you would have by now. Not the life you keep replaying in your imagination. Not the life you are trying to prove to people who do not understand your heart. The life that is actually here. The morning that is waiting for you. The body you have been criticizing instead of caring for. The home you have been moving through without gratitude because your mind has been somewhere else. The people who love you but do not always know how to reach you. The small opportunities you dismiss because they do not look like the dramatic answer you prayed for. Come back to the life in front of you. You have been living too far ahead. You have been making homes in futures that have not happened. You have been spending today's strength trying to control tomorrow's outcome. You have been rehearsing what you will say if everything goes wrong. You have been imagining loss before loss arrives. You have been carrying grief for possibilities that may never become real. And all the while, the present moment has been waiting for you. I know that being present can feel frightening. When you are present, you cannot hide behind planning. When you are present, you must feel the ache that still lives in you. When you are present, you notice how much you have missed while trying to survive. But being present is also where life returns. It is where you hear the laughter you almost ignored. It is where you notice the warmth of light through a window. It is where you feel the ground beneath your feet. It is where you realize that you are still here, still breathing, still capable of choosing something different, still able to receive a new day. I am not asking you to deny the past. The past has taught you things. It has shaped you. It has left marks. But I am asking you not to keep living there. The past cannot hold your future unless you keep handing it the keys. You have replayed certain moments so many times that they have become like rooms you visit without realizing it. The argument, the goodbye, the betrayal, the mistake, the moment you felt embarrassed, the moment you did not speak up, the moment you lost something you loved. And every time you return there, you try to change the ending. But you cannot change what has already happened. You can only decide what will happen next. This is not surrendering to defeat. This is releasing the illusion that you must punish yourself until the past becomes different. It will not become different, but you can. You can become more gentle, more honest, more awake, more willing to receive the good that is still possible. My child, do not let grief make you blind to grace. Grief is real. Loss is real. Some things should have been different. Some people should have treated you better. Some doors should not have closed the way they did. Some promises should not have been broken. I will not ask you to pretend that pain was not painful, but I will ask you not to let pain become the only lens through which you see your life. There is still goodness around you. There is still beauty you have not noticed. There are still people who would be grateful to know the real you. There are still ways your story can become a place of comfort for someone else. There is still a future that does not look like the fear you keep rehearsing. Come back to the life in front of you. Drink the water. Rest when you are tired. Answer the message you have been afraid to answer. Take the walk. Open the curtains. Say the honest thing. Make the appointment. Write the prayer. Forgive yourself for needing time. Ask for help when you need it. You do not need one dramatic miracle to begin living again. Sometimes the miracle is that you choose not to give up on an ordinary day. Sometimes the miracle is that you get up and care for yourself after a night when you thought you could not. Sometimes the miracle is that you stop chasing what keeps running from you and begin to receive what is already trying to meet you. I am calling you back to your own life. Not a perfect life. A real life. A life where you no longer have to pretend that you do not feel. A life where you no longer trade your peace for approval. A life where you can hear your own thoughts without fear. A life where you can say no without believing you are cruel. A life where you can say yes without abandoning yourself. A life where you trust that a slow beginning is still a beginning. You may not have control over every season. You may not be able to force every door open. You may not be able to make people understand you. But you can choose what you will do with this moment. You can choose to stop turning away. You can choose to stop postponing your healing. You can choose to take the next faithful step. You can choose to come back. And when you come back, you will discover that I was not standing far away waiting to see whether you would fail. I was beside you, calling your name. My child, you have heard enough today to know that you do not have to remain where you have been. You do not have to stay in the cycle. You do not have to keep repeating the story that fear wrote for you. You do not have to keep hiding from the truth that can set you free. You are allowed to return. Return to honesty. Return to rest. Return to the life in front of you. Return to the boundaries that protect your peace. Return to the prayer you thought you had forgotten how to pray. Return to hope, even if hope feels small. You may be thinking, but I do not know how. Start here. Tell me the truth. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what you are afraid of. Tell me what you have been avoiding. Tell me where you have been trying to survive without help. You do not need perfect language. You do not need a performance. You only need a willing heart. Let this be your prayer. God, I am tired of running from what I need to face. I am tired of calling fear wisdom. I am tired of carrying pain as if it is my identity. I am tired of returning to what has already shown me that it cannot give me peace. Help me take the next honest step. Help me release what I cannot control. Help me forgive what has been poisoning my heart. Help me forgive myself for the ways I have been trying to survive. Teach me to recognize the difference between your voice and the voice of shame. Teach me to receive correction without believing I am condemned. Teach me to trust that I can begin again. Give me courage to close the doors I need to close. Give me strength to set the boundaries I need to set. Give me humility to ask for help when I need help. Give me peace in the places where I have only known pressure. And bring me back to the life you are calling me to live. My child, I hear that prayer. I hear it even if you could not say every word. I hear it if all you could offer was a sigh. I hear it if you are still unsure. I hear it if part of you wants to believe, but another part is afraid to hope. You do not have to arrive at certainty all at once. You only have to stop running from the next step. The next step might be small. Take it anyway. The next step might feel uncomfortable. Take it anyway. The next step might not look impressive to anyone else. Take it anyway. A life is rebuilt through faithful steps that no one applauds. A heart is restored through choices that feel ordinary, until one day you realize you are no longer the person who could not imagine getting free. You will look back and see that the change did not begin when every fear disappeared. It began when you stopped agreeing with fear. It began when you stopped calling pain your permanent home. It began when you stopped returning to what I was trying to lead you away from. It began when you chose truth one day at a time. Do not turn away from the good that is still possible. Do not turn away from the love that is still available to you. Do not turn away from your own future because your past was painful. Do not turn away from yourself. You are still here. That matters. You are still listening. That matters. You are still able to choose a different path. That matters. There may be things you need to repair. There may be things you need to release. There may be things you need to grieve before you can move forward. But none of that means you are beyond grace. None of that means you are too late. None of that means the story is over. The story is not over. The door is still open. The next step is still waiting. And I am still calling you. Not with panic. Not with shame. With love that tells the truth. With mercy that makes room for your return. With strength for the part of you that is ready to become free. Take a breath. Let your shoulders release. You do not need to carry tomorrow tonight. You do not need to solve your whole future before you sleep. You only need to remember this. You are not your worst moment. You are not your deepest regret. You are not the name fear gave you. You are not the pain that happened to you. You are a person still being called toward life. And you are allowed to answer. If this message has reached the part of you that has been tired of running, let this be the moment you choose to return. Not to a perfect version of yourself, to a truthful one, to a peaceful one, to the life that is still waiting for you. May you be given courage for the next honest step. May you be given wisdom for the doors that need to close. May you be given tenderness for the places in you that are still healing. May you be given rest from the thoughts that have exhausted you. May you be given people who know how to hold your heart with care. May you learn to believe that peace is not something you have to earn through suffering. May you learn that you can be loved without disappearing. May you learn that you can be strong without being alone. And when fear tries to tell you that nothing will ever change, remember this. You have already begun. You stayed. You listened. You faced what you had been avoiding. Now take the next step. I am still calling you. Amen.